Hey, what's up? We are One Take. In this channel, we talk about different topics that are relevant to the current generation in an open yet respectful manner, all in one take. Money is quite a touchy topic, especially in these trying times. In this episode, we're going to hear our Gen Zs talk about financial literacy. Are Filipino Gen Zs financially literate? What does financial literacy even mean? Let's hear them out.
Well, for me, although I'm no financial expert or I'm not a financial advisor, I've learned quite a bit about financial literacy from some other people. So for me, financial literacy is how you properly or how you efficiently manage your money or your assets or whatever you own. So it's all about managing that and being wise with what you have, so that because it's not just about savings and all that, because you really need to be disciplined as a person with what you have. So I think that's the core foundation of financial literacy.
Right. Kinabahan mo. Financial literacy, yes, I agree with him. It's about knowing your assets and all of that. But it's also, I guess, the finance says 101, like what are the terms, what are assets, what are net worth, what's stocks, bonds, what are the good banks to be in, or it's not just about savings, but it's also having that at least basic knowledge about the terms that they throw around in the financial world. So that's financial literacy for me.
Yeah, I agree with Evan and Lystra.
Yes.
Na-expound na nila yung actual meaning ng financial literacy. But to add on that lang, for me, financial literacy is as basic as knowing how to balance your expenses and your assets, your cash. Yeah. And it's it's about, kumbaga, second nature na din minsan ng mga tao to. Since financing isn't about parang money. It goes back way beyond cash pa. Pinapractice na yung, kumbaga, quote-unquote financial literacy kahit yung mga barter trades pa. So, yeah.
Yeah, so actually, in line with that, I wanna add in the factor na yung financial literacy also includes what are your goals? Ano ba gusto mong ma-achieve with your money in the long term? And then you plan it. Kasi syempre, bakit ka nga ba nagsisave? Bakit ka nga ba nagtitipid? It's because you wanna save for something. And that awareness na alam mo kung ano pumapasok, ano lumalabas, I think it will be really helpful in showing kung ano ba yung habits mo, magastos ka ba sa food or what. And knowing that can help you set you for yung future financial goals mo.
Right.
So that's financial literacy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly the statistics, but based on what I know and based on what I've observed, for me, I think Filipinos in general, they aren't financially stable. I think one reason for that is if you look at our curriculum,
Financially stable. Ouch.
Financially literate. Right. Did I say stable?
Yeah, you said stable.
Literate. Sorry. If you look at our curriculum, hindi tinuturo sa schools yung finances, how you manage your money, how you what do you call this? Differentiate your wants from your needs, and yung mga basic stuff like opening a bank account, yung mga ganon, yung mga real life experiences na work with finance, they don't teach it in school. So just from that, parang ma-realize mo, parang sariling sikap yung getting, financial literate. So, and that in itself is parang a factor as to why I think Filipinos in general aren't financially literate.
Right. Initially, I was gonna say that Filipinos are not financially literate, but I realized that we are financially literate, but we're not literate in the way that would help us grow our money.
Yeah.
We kind of have people are actually taught how to manage their money in school, at least in my time. I'm old. Home economics, but it's normally like, oh, the mom is the one who handles the money and
Yeah.
dad earns it. And then, there are some people like our literacy involves, okay, I got my sweldo, and then what are they gonna be like when they get their sweldo? They're gonna be one day millionaires, and then the next day, ubos na yung pera nila.
Totoo.
So that's the kind of habits or financial literacy that we have as a culture. I can't say that. That's too generalizing. But at least how I've grown up or how I am as a person, because my parents aren't like that. But like that's the kind of vibe that I get. They're kind of YOLO with their money. They're very short term, or at least I'm very, as a Filipino, I'm very short term. Sometimes defending myself with my money. So it's very rare that I see people, like as Reg said, who have long-term goals when it comes to their money. So it's kind of like, yes, they are literate, but not in a wise way.
So, for me naman, I think I agree with Evan, no? The financial literacy atmosphere in our country still has a long way to go. Given that, ayun nga, hindi pa siya masyado nasa curriculum, and to be honest, kailangan ko naging knowledgeable sa finance because yun yung inaaral ko, yun yung course ko since business course ako eh. Pero kung ikaw ay wala ka sa business course, like let's say you're taking up medtech or engineering, for sure yung mga courses mo more often than not dun yung background. And sana mas ma-integrate pa natin sa mga curriculums natin sa future, kahit sa mga future na mag-aaral yung basic financial literacy lang. Like you said, yung pag-open ng banks, and especially mga pag-file ng taxes. Kasi yung after ng graduation natin, kumbaga it's like jumping out of a cliff while it's like jumping out of a cliff while building your plane on the way down. So parang ganun yung atmosphere sa country natin siya. Though may nakikita naman tayong improvement kahit paano, may mga nakikita tayong mga programs ng mga NGOs, ng mga government para mas lalo pang ma-enhance yung financial literacy natin dito sa country.
Yes, actually, as a business student as well, likewise, kahit na meron kami mga finance subjects, I still think it's not helpful enough. Kasi iba pa rin kasi yung business na finance to compared to personal finance. So yung tanong na, do you think Filipinos are financially literate? Generally, no. Pero kasi madiskarte din ang Pinoy. Like when it comes to handling their money na, alam mo yun, may papasok bukas, so sige, pwede tayong gumastos ng ganito. Pero in line with like what Leicester said na, there's not much future goals, but it's probably because meron nga ba. Pero I think yun yung, that is where nandun yung problema. People think that they don't have enough to actually, have a long-term goal. So, kung yung definition ko ng financial literacy is in line ng future goals, I think na hindi talaga.
I realized it's also difficult for a lot of Filipinos to be financially literate because not all of them are actually, like, a lot of people live in the below the margin, the line. What's that term?
Below the poverty line.
Yes, that poverty line. So every day their money is just enough, or not even enough for the day that they have.
That's true.
May term dun yung isang kahig, isang tuka.
tuka. Yeah. So how can we be financially literate when we have that kind of mindset, or that's our reality?
Yes.
Isang kahig, isang tuka lang talaga tayo.
Yes. Pero I really think na we can improve on that. Yung parang kahit very small things, na parang kahit piso lang yan, it goes a long way talaga. I think na sobrang, minsan minamaliit natin yung small, yung mga dati kung meron na tayo noon dati, mga centavos. Right, ayun.
Yeah.
So,
I agree lang din doon sa sinabi ni Reg na even though na business students kami, we were trained to see things at a corporate perspective.
totoo.
Hindi kami masyado like from the EM program, I'm sure na You guys were taught na.
Budgeting, gano'n.
No.
Not like yung registration ng business, ganun.
No, we kind of were like thrown into the fire. I've been doing my business for 3 years. I only learned how to do taxes last year.
Oh my God, okay, wow.
Parang yun nga, we were trained to see from the eyes of the corporate giants
Yes,
talaga.
yes.
Hindi tayo masyado natural like how to start small and building
Totoo.
your way up doon.
But I think that's because personal finances, personal literacy, it's something that you need to seek on your own instead of relying on educational institutions to
Yes.
teach us. Maybe that's like the difference between the cultures of Filipinos and people who grew up in the States. In the States, they're always taught, like from a young age, they would see their parents pay
Yes.
taxes. But for us, most of the time, our parents, at least my parents, were employed. So parang they don't have to compute for their taxes. They don't really do that anymore. So there's less exposure for us when it comes to personal finances. I guess kasi it starts in the family talaga.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes din mahirap i-blame yung marginalized people kasi sila din talaga ay victims of circumstances.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Kasi, yun nga, like family, who are the people that surround you? I think it will really shape yung financial literacy mo. Kasi syempre kung the people that surround who you are with, hindi naman masyadong concerned sa finances, you wouldn't really think about it as well.
That's true.
Well, in terms of misconceptions, I guess I can say that one common misconception is that just the word itself, just the term itself, financial literacy, it's parang intimidating or nakakatakot for some people kasi parang they might think that yung financial literacy pang mayaman lang yan. Para lang yan sa mga may pera or may mga businesses or may mga whatever. So, like, I wanted to go back to what Wise said kanina, yung parang people can start small. They don't have to have all these, mga galanteng stuff or all these, a lot of money. They can start with whatever they have and be responsible with that, be wise with that. Eventually, it's gonna start growing. So, ayun, I guess one common misconception nga is, it's intimidating, but it shouldn't be. Kasi it's something that we should, that all of us should not just educate ourselves, but I think it's something that, it's super important to bring awareness to it now, especially during this time na pandemic, diba? Everyone's parang struggling and stuff. So, ayun.
Yeah, hopping on to what Evan said, he was saying something about awareness, and I really definitely agree with that. I think a common misconception with Filipinos is like, bakit pa ako magko-concern with financial literacy? Wala naman akong pera. So, I mean, I've said that so many times before, even back in college, and that's coming from a business student already, or at least an alumna of one of the top business schools in the Philippines. And I think it's really there, that stigma. Wala naman akong pera, I don't want to manage money. And I think it starts with awareness. Despite you not having or feeling like you don't have enough money to manage, you should at least know where that goes. Because at the end of the day, money is not just a status, but it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool to help you reach your goals, your dreams. It's a tool to help you proceed from one goal to another. It's not just to buy things that you want or love, but it can help you build a life talaga. No.
Another point lang din on the misconception on the topic of finance is the subtopic of it, which is debt or utang. Dito sa Philippines, or at least sa mga kakilala ko dati, yung ngayon lang kita nakilala. Yun nga, yung utang meron siyang negative notion na parang it's bad, na masama na may utang ka. Though, in the perspective of finances, maganda na meron kang utang kahit paano, kahit walang-wala ka, meron kang revolving funds na let's say, patakbuhin yung kahit small business mo, let's say maliit na karinderya mo, kahit na may utang ka, ang importante kasi doon is yung pinapalago mo. So dapat hindi natin sinashun yung idea of debt talaga.
I guess to just differentiate, there's bad debt that makes your financial status negative, and then there's good debt that actually increases your financial status. So I think there's a lack of differentiation in the Philippines, what's bad debt and what's good debt. In general, it's just utang.
Yeah.
Yun.
I think in line with that, I'd like to add another perspective din na yung kanina na sinabi natin na wala namang financial literacy ang tao masyado. So when it comes to that, like it's gonna be hard to accept that concept, especially kung wala kang alam. Siyempre, wala naman akong alam dyan. So bakit, parang it's hard to delve into it, especially with the interest rates, paiba-iba kasi yan eh. So there are a lot of concepts that you have to understand before you can actually, borrow money. Kasi kung hindi, nanghiram ka lang pera, hindi mo naman alam kung talagang mag-grow siya, kung babalik ba. And talagang, alam mo yun, kailangan mabalik mo agad yung pera during that time or not, mag-fail ka. And I think yun yung maraming, dun nadala yung maraming mga Pilipino din when it comes to money.
Right. Actually, just like before going to like debts that has interest rates, let's just go back to the basic. Like if you're a student and then mangungutang ka sa friend mo, like just for food. So that's a bad debt kasi hindi ka naman nag-earn eh. You just lost money. And then what would be a good debt would be probably borrowing like 500 pesos for your parents so you can start up like a small lemon stand or something. That's good debt.
From experience.
Madaming
From experience. Nangungutang po kasi ako para sa pagkain araw-araw.
Pero in fairness, madaming mga naging successful na business dahil nagsimula sila sa humingi ng utang sa mga relatives.
Yeah. Because that doesn't have to be so huge that you borrow something from the bank and you have to worry about interest. But like bad debt, na kahit maliit lang yan, kahit mo tigbo 100, kunyari, namutang ako sa kanya pang Jollibee, 100 isa-isa. That already adds up.
Yung tawag doon is actually diversification, di ba?
Wow!
Parang alam mo yun, kunwari, kailangan mo ng 100,000, 20,000 lang meron kunwari si Wise. Then, sige, 20,000 sa kanya dito. Pero I think, you have to make sure na kaya mong bayaran naman. Kuminsan, di ba? Parang yung mga tao, they expect that money na darating. And what if hindi? So it's also having that plan B na hindi ka lang sugod na sugod. Oh, sige, pwede palang manghiram eh.
Yeah.
I wanna add lang. I mean, this is kind of not related yung sa mga sinasabi niyo, but siguro another misconception I can think of, or hindi naman misconception, something that should not stop, or something that we should see of less. Yung when we think of growing our money, parang there's a lot of people, they just grow it for the sake of getting rich. Just for myself na lang. Yeah, it's good to have your own money na magiging stable ka, but at the end of the day, when you die, you can't bring your money to the grave, diba? So parang we should also we should also think of ways to use our money. As what you said kanina, money is a tool, diba? You can use it to help the marginalized. If you have a personal advocacy that you're really passionate about, you can start a fundraiser or projects help that particular advocacy. So once we do actually succeed in our finances, let's use it as a tool to help those who are.
Actually, last na talaga. Like, kasi nagustuhan ko yung sinabi niya about parang money. Yung sa concept na you have to earn money. Kasi ang dami mga Pinoy, they want easy money. And dun sila nadadali. So there's this conception na, sige, mahirap pala eh. Then I'll go na lang dun sa mga, something that can make me earn faster and easier. Pero kasi when it's easy, when you got it easy, it can be taken away from you as easily as well.
Yeah, right.
So I think na one misconception is that it's hard. I mean, no, it's not a misconception actually. It's a reality. Mahirap kumita ng pera. Kaya kailangan you know how to spend your money, right?
It's interesting to hear that the current generation knows something about personal finances. To a degree, I agree that one of the reasons why Filipinos are generally challenged with personal finances is that a lot of us don't have enough money for us to have a long-term goal. Also, there seems to be a lack of resources in learning how to deal with personal finances. But these shouldn't stop us from knowing about how we can spend, save, and even grow our money. Regardless of how much money we have, we need to be aware of how we handle it. But be mindful that money isn't all that there is. Money is just but a tool. Let us learn how to control our money, not the other way around. What do you guys think? Pitch in your thoughts in our Discord community. Join us in the link found in the description down below. Also, if you like content like these, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you will be notified of our next videos. See you in our next episode.